Today, I'm going to experiment 5.5 ways to create a bubble effect in your texture art. Now, let's dive in. Hi, Sea Rockers. Welcome to 5.5 ways to make a bubble effect using texture paste or texture in your texture art. Whew, that was a mouthful. To get ready for our first effect, I went ahead and diluted down some modeling paste, spackle, whatever it is you use. I just diluted it with some water and put it in a pastry bag. And now we're going to get ready to do some piping. And so exactly that, our number one technique is piping. Now, never mind my sloppy little blips, because once you get about 12, 15 of these out, then you finally get your groove. So I like to take some water and a paintbrush and just kind of knock off the top little point and soften the edges, and it really does help it dry a little nicer. Our number two way to create some bubbles is by using styrofoam beads. Now, these little things have a mind of their own, and they're what come in your bean bags and other pillows and stuffed animals and things. Anyway, I bought these at Dollar Tree, so you can find them. You can find them online. They're super easy, but they do have a mind of their own, as I said. So they like to fly around, and don't say I didn't warn you. Once you get them into a container, then you're going to add your paste and just mix it up real good. Make sure you have enough paste. See what I mean? Isn't that just goofy? All the static. Anyway, just mix it up. Once you got those beads coated real good, then you're going to spread it on your substrate. Now, I might recommend that you put it on top of some modeling paste or something that's down there instead of just the raw wood like this. I think they'll work a little better. But anyway, so just build and stack, and you can make it 3D. Just create to your heart's content. So coming in at number 3 are flat back pearls. I happen to find a big tub of them at Hobby Lobby, but you can find them online as well. Now, you can use this technique in 2 different ways. You can take your flat back beads and actually embed them into your base. Or if your base is dry, you can go ahead and glue them on, which is what I ended up doing because my background was dry already. Once your pearls are nice and dry, then you're going to go ahead and take some of your texture paste and then just apply it right over the top. I try to make it as smooth as possible so there's less sanding that needs to be done. But because the pearls are kind of slick, it is difficult to get a single coat on there. So you may have to do a couple coats and sand in between. But actually, this is one of my favorite effects because it gives a real pretty bubble-like effect. Coming in at number 4 is UV resin. I used the little flashlight, but you can also use, and I have, the dome cover that you can use over the top. So the idea is pretty similar as to our flat back beads. Basically, you're going to create your own bead using the UV resin. So basically a bead of UV resin. The downside to this is that the beads are very small and very shallow in their depth. The UV resin flattens out a little bit as it dries, so it doesn't quite give you the height, but it will give you a texture. And essentially, you're going to do the same thing you did with the flat back beads and put your texture paste right over the top. Our number 5 way to get the bubble effect is by using styrofoam balls. Again, you can find these Walmart, Hobby Lobby, just about anywhere or online. I just go ahead and cut at the depth that I want my bubble to be. And then I go ahead and just glue it on or embed it into my project. And let me go ahead and show you just kind of the different depths that we're working with. And you can decide how you want to proceed based upon how big you want your bubble. And following the same steps that we did in number 3 and 4, number 5 is going to be covered in our paste as well. Now, with the rough styrofoam, the one with the big holes in it, it's going to take a couple coats of your paste to cover it up if you want it covered. But otherwise, this gives another big bubble effect for your project. All right, let's recap what we've done here, and then I'll give you my opinion in just a minute. And I said 5.5, and there is our 5.5. So I got a wild hair, and I wondered what would happen if I put UV resin on top of these perfectly little rounded blobs. And it actually turned out pretty dang cool. So in my opinion, here's what I liked and what I didn't like. The piping I liked, but it does take a little sanding and some finishing. I really like the styrofoam bead effect, and I like that I can build it up or make it as much or as little, but I would add some glue and water over the top. Now the flat back beads, these were really pretty. I like the smooth finish that they'll give as you add more layers to the bubbles. And I think this is a win for this one. Now, the UV resin, I wasn't a fan of. It's up to you. Now, I do like the styrofoam balls. Again, they would just take some work and some finishing. And it would probably need to be a large project if you used this large a ball. And the UV resin over the piping dot was a definite win. Just depends on how you like your finish.
Well, there you have it. 5.5 ways to create a bubble effect in your texture art. And I'm sure you'll probably come up with some more ideas that I didn't even think of. And I hope you were inspired to try something new. I know I sure did. First of all, thank you for joining me today. I truly appreciate it. So till next time, go beach or go home.